All right, so here we are. It's Wednesday, and this is week 2, recorded session 2. Hello, Brianne. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How's everything going with you?
Oh, okay. We're having tornadoes, so you might lose me.
Okay, well, we've had some storms earlier, but no tornadoes. Where are you located?
Ohio?
Ohio. Okay, that's pretty high for a tornado, isn't it? A little bit out of the beaten path.
It is. And it's also March, so.
Anything's liable to happen, right?
Yep, we like to do all kinds of weather up here.
Okay.
So,
Ohio is not too far away from me. I'm in New Jersey, so you're closer to me than
oh, yeah,
Ohio.
it's headed your way, so.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
No, great. I'm looking forward to it.
So
So
exciting.
how's your work going?
It's good. I'm
Yeah?
enjoying it.
No problems?
No?
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna remind everybody. I keep making certain reminders. Tomorrow night is Wednesday. I'm in Blackboard from 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock Mountain Time. And then on Saturday, I'm in Blackboard from 7 o'clock until 12 o'clock Mountain Time. So, look, if you have any problems or if you have any questions, or even if you just want to show me what you're doing before you submit it, feel free to stop by. I'm more than happy to speak to you about it, okay? And I hope everybody is having fun doing what we're doing and having no problems. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about right away. You got email from me today, Brianne?
Yes.
Yeah,
Several.
you should have gotten several, right?
I did.
Okay. Right now, I'm in my YouTube site. And the reason I'm in my YouTube site is because I want to explain a couple of things to everybody, make sure everybody completely understands what's going on here. We have our live session, okay? But what I did was I went into the live session and I extracted out a piece of the live session, which is me building the bottle profile, okay? The reason I did this was because if you want to go in and practice this, it's a lot easier for you to go to this one right here, because it's just the section of the entire 2-hour session that covers me building that bottle. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's instead of going in and looking at the week 2 session to see how I did that profile for the bottle and did the revolve, I actually took the video apart, sort of, and I just kept the section of it that shows the steps. So it's probably, it's a long video, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to go zipping through the 2-hour session to try to figure out where it is. It's right there for you. I did the same thing with the box layout that we did. I went in and I found the section of the box layout where I'm demonstrating how to put that together. And there are the 2 videos. I sent you guys the links to it. I sent you emails notifying it, right?
Yep.
Okay, you got them and everything's fine, right, with it?
It is.
All right, so let me get rid of this and let me go to here. Announcements, real quick. What I did was I added some announcements. I put my YouTube page just in case, you know, you want to have a backup. That's my link to my YouTube page. So you should have no trouble finding me. Also, tonight I'm going to demonstrate a barcode generator. There's a little barcode generator that we're going to use to generate a barcode for our label. I'm going to just demonstrate that real quick. I also have our teaching assistant info, and she is right here. It's Christy Paulson. Are you familiar with Christy Paulson, Brianne?
Yes, I've worked with her a few times.
Okay, so she's our learning assistant. If you can't, for whatever reason, find me, you can find her. And I guess this is her schedule. Her schedule's Wednesday, 12 to 7. See, but she doesn't say where that is. I'm assuming that she means Blackboard. See, I don't know. I'm not sure what that schedule means.
It's usually Blackboard.
All right. Well, it would have been better if she just wrote that because it throws me right away. Anyway, there's her contact information. There's her schedule. I would assume that's Blackboard. And it's important to know that because she has been assigned to us as a teaching assistant. Essentially, what that means is she knows this course, and she'd be more than able to help us in making this stuff happen. So let me go back real quick. And this is just a thought. If you want to read it, it's about what you put into the class. I don't know whether you've read any of my announcements or not, but go in and read them if you feel like it. All right, so that's what I just wanted to point out, those few little links up here which are important to you. I want to go to home for a second. I also want to point out the emails that I sent you should explain that I've also linked to those 2 videos. Did you get those emails where I said that?
Yes.
Okay, you understand that when I'm talking about live session, I'm talking about going here and live sessions and recordings. And if you scroll down, here's week 1, here's week 2, okay? Mm-hmm. And week 1, what I have is the extraction of the 3D bottle to my YouTube. See it?
Right.
Okay. And building the box layout?
Right.
Okay. So you've got the as a matter of fact, I'm sorry, this is the lecture 2. This here is the extraction of the 3D revolve, and this is building the box. So on top of my 2 lectures, which are the complete lectures, I did the extraction showing the 3D bottle revolve, and I also showed the layout box so that it's completely separate. And if you want to go in and just work on those 2 elements alone, because I covered them pretty extremely in both of those sessions, there's where you go to do it. Okay?
Got it.
All right. So does that, when you read my emails, that's clear? All that's clear based on what I just explained?
Yep. And it's pretty much everywhere, so there's really no way we can screw up.
Well, it's not a question of screwing up. I just want to make sure I did the work, and I want to make sure that, you actually have a chance to take advantage of the work. I don't want to do the work for nothing. So I want to just make sure that everybody knows exactly what I'm doing and has access to it, because, you're going to probably do a revolve on some kind of an object, and you should know how to do it. And there's the steps, and it's a lot easier to go into that extraction and watch that than it is to go and find the extraction in the 2-hour session and then, just make notes of where it is and go back to it and back to it and back to it. This way, it's literally just that section showing you the steps, which I just think makes it a little bit easier for you to absorb,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with building the box layout. I mean, I did it with the box layout too, because that was a very specific thing, and it's something that's important to your course. I mean, you actually have to produce this thing. So I figured, well, now I'm going to pull it out so that they can literally go in and just look at that section and make it easier for them to actually do it. I'm assuming that you're going to go back in and watch the videos while you do it. Either one of you guys think you know it enough that you could do it without watching the video? I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know whether I'm not trying to insult anything. I'm just saying, is it something you think you could do without watching the video?
I watched you do it in class the other night, live.
Okay. Do you feel after watching it, it's clear enough in your mind that you could just go in and do it?
No, I took notes, and I'm still going to watch it at the same time.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, it's eventually, after you've done this, I'm telling you, it's like, really, it's nothing. It's really, you're just going to go in and you're going to do it. You're going to go in and do it. And you're going to know exactly how to do it. But the first few times you do it, and it's the same with me. When I did it, the first few times I did it, I had to go watch a video to see how it was done. And I had to go in and try it with some very simple shapes. And after I got comfortable with what was there, I tried doing a more complex shape. And then I got to the point where, I was doing all kinds of shapes. Have any of you gone and taken a look at my website?
I did a little bit.
Okay. If you go to my website, wrsdesign.com, you'll see that every single one of those implements that are on my website, everything that was there, the magic marker, the pens, the mat knife, the pencil, highlighter, all those the felt tips, all those objects, believe it or not, were rendered using Adobe 3D. They're not pictures. They're actually revolved objects that I built in Adobe 3D. And that's why I did it that way, because I wanted to demonstrate Muse and I wanted to demonstrate this revolve in Illustrator. So you can go in and take a look at a bunch of things that I built and get a really good idea of what the capacity is when it comes to doing stuff like this. All right?
Okay.
All right, so we're all good with this. You got no problems with your bottle. Have you tried doing a bottle yet?
Not the bottle.
Okay.
I'm gonna work on it this weekend.
Okay. How about did you start working on your box layout yet?
A little bit.
A little bit? Yeah. Okay. Hello, Daryl. How you doing? You good?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
All right. Do you have any problems with anything? Is there anything that I can help you with at all? Are you good?
I'm good right now.
Okay. So you'll have no trouble keeping up with what we got to do?
I haven't had any trouble yet.
Okay. Well, like I was saying, come and see me if you have questions or if you need any kind of help. My hours in Blackboard, I've mentioned them time and time again. I'm there. Come and take advantage of it. I'm more than happy to help you. So what I want to do tonight is I want to do two things. I want to show you a little bit about how I took my logo and I prepared my logo to go into my box graphics. And then what I want to do is I want to show you my box graphics, the graphics that I created. And I want to show you how I went about creating these box graphics so that you can see me do this. And then you could sort of do something similar with your graphics. Now, I chose the hot sauce. Now, if you're not doing the hot sauce, you're going to do a different box, but it's basically the same idea where you're going to take graphics and you're going to apply graphics to the packaging surfaces, and you're going to do it in some kind of logical way. So that's what we're really looking at here. Before I go in there, though, I left you a note for the barcode generator. I believe it's in my announcements. And here is the barcode generator, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whip up a very simple barcode. I mean, these are not real world barcodes. These are just something that we're going to use to create a barcode. And as a matter of fact, my original barcode, I didn't even use this barcode creator. What I did was I just went online and I looked up barcode. And I grabbed the barcode from online and I put the barcode in just as a demonstration because it's not a real package. So I just basically found something online and put it in there. And as far as creating a contents, and nutritional information panel, I went online and I found one of them. And I came in and I just basically faked it. I went in and I used position copy, and I just made an artificial one. It doesn't even say anything. It just looks like a nutritional information panel. Again, that's perfectly legitimate for you to do because obviously you have to put those elements in. So if you're going to make one, fake one, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so I'm going to come in. And I'm going to go with a UPCA code, okay? Now, what does it say here? UPCA code contains 12 digits and is primarily used in retail and wholesale. It encodes the producer and the individual article numbers. The character set is 0 through 9, and it's 12 digits, okay? So I'm just going to throw in a series of number, and I got to have 12 of them. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? I just put in 12 individual numbers. Okay? That's all I did. Create barcode. Come on. Now it's not going to work. Great. Yeah, so it's now not showing me my barcode. Enter. It's not letting me do it. I wonder if I can let me just reset this page to see if I can get it. Let's try it now. Yeah, see, it's suddenly it's not working. I generated one this afternoon. If you run into problems with this thing not working, like mine's not working here all of a sudden, I don't know really why it isn't. Preview barcode. It's not showing it. Ugh. I don't know why all of a sudden the thing doesn't want to show it. It did show before. So if you have this problem, all right, then the other way to do it is to just do a Google search. All right, and come in and Google, and then just Google barcode, B-A-R-C-O-D-E, hit enter, and then go to images. Okay, they're all barcodes. There are millions of them. Grab yourself a barcode, okay? Just so that you understand, pretty much any one of these barcodes would be sufficient. The key is that you're putting in a required element, which is a barcode. If that barcode generator is not going to work for you, then come in and grab a barcode here. Try to do the barcode generator first, though, please, because it should work. It worked for me this afternoon. I generated one. I didn't download it. I thought, okay, so I'm just going to wait and download it tonight. And it's just suddenly, for some reason or other, not letting me do it. So if you run into a problem, just look for barcode. And the other thing that you might look for is, what is it? What are those called? Nutritional data. Okay, and let's see what we got here. There we go, nutritional facts. So you see what they are? So nutritional facts, you're going to grab one of these guys and bring one of these guys in, and you're going to make sure that one of them goes on your. Now, of course, if you're doing this perfume, obviously there's no nutritional facts, but there will still be a barcode. Okay, Brianne, which one are you doing? Do you know?
I'm doing perfume.
Okay, Daryl, what are you doing?
I'm doing wine.
You're doing what?
Wine?
Wine. Okay. I think wine has nutritional facts on it because it's a commodity that you drink, you would consume. It's a consumable.
It usually doesn't have a nutrition.
Dan, I'm in my class. Come on.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was early.
It's not early. Oh, I'm in my class, Jen. Jeez. So you need nutritional facts if it's a nutritional
I've
product.
I've never seen it on wine, but wine has the alcohol percentage and the thing about who is it? The Attorney General.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be a different. I'll tell you what I would recommend that you do if it's possible. Go and take a look in a liquor store at a wine box, and take a look and see what is the actual information that you find on a wine box. You don't have to actually buy the wine, but you can go in and you can just make some notes about what you saw on there so that when you come back out, you can create a realistic looking wine box. Okay?
You're going to buy the wine.
You can, well, I mean, I'm not saying you can't buy the wine, but I'm just saying you don't have to buy the wine. All you really need to do is to go in and take a look at the box and see what's on the box, and that's good enough. But if you want to go buy a bottle of wine, you go right ahead. I'm more than happy to let you do that. So anyway, all I'm saying is I would like you guys to consider the type of elements that would go on a box realistically. I mean, this isn't, we're not trying to play here. We're trying to actually make something that looks rather real. So you want to consider the type of things that you would find. Now, what I did happen to have a little box that came with a bottle of hot sauce that I had. So I was able to get some ideas just by looking at the box and looking at the label. And then I just amended the elements to reflect what I was going to do on my box and on my bottle. And I'll show you all that, this week and next week we'll be working on those things. This week, I'm going to take us the next step in, which is I'm going to start showing you how to produce the graphics that go on your box. And also, I believe next week we'll be doing, I guess, the finalization of the box graphics, and we'll begin doing a label for the bottle, I believe. Is that right? You guys know, did you take a look at week 3 yet? Let me see what week 3 says here. Hold on. Let me see what we got. Oh, week 3. All right, let's see. Week 3. Let's see. Give me a second. Here we go.
The UPC generator works, but you only put 11 numbers in because it automatically puts the 12th number at the end.
I thought I put 12 in. I put 12 in, but it didn't do mine. I was pretty sure I put 12 in, but it didn't. If I did only 11, it didn't put a 12th one in for me.
Oh,
You put 11 in and yours put a 12th one in?
Yep, it automatically put the number 1 at the end.
All right, well, what I'm saying to you is mine, for some reason, didn't function at all. But as long as yours functions, now all you got to do is download it. You can download it as a JPEG, or you can download it, I believe, as a PNG, right? I don't have the file. I don't have the page opened anymore, but you can download it as either a PNG, a JPEG, or a TIFF. Is that right?
JPEG, EPS, or SVG.
Okay, all right, okay, that makes sense because they're vector graphics. So you can. I would not necessarily bring it in as SVG because SVG is scalable vector graphic, and a scalable vector graphic is used primarily for the web, and you're not using this for the web. So what is it? What did you say? EPS or what?
JPEG.
JPEG. So to me, it doesn't matter either way. I'll tell you the difference. The difference is that if you download a JPEG, it's going to be flat with a white background, which isn't bad. If you download it as an EPS, it very well might have a transparent background. So keep that in mind. A JPEG always comes out with a flattened kind of image and will have whatever background is there. If you bring something out as an EPS, if it has a transparent background, it will be transparent. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay, JPEGs have no capacity for transparency. So it's always going to have some sort of a background like white or whatever color it's got. It's going to have a background. Whereas an EPS, you can export an EPS with a transparent background. So that's your major difference between the two. Either one of those two would be just fine for what you're doing. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Well, it said JPEG, but when I go into the download, it did it as a PNG. So
PNG file.
yeah.
Well, for our purposes, a PNG file is okay. I mean, we're just basically doing a mock-up here, so it's okay that you have a PNG. All right. Now, these nutritional facts, you can use them as a guide. If you find one that is about the size that you want, you can put it in. It's a fake. It's okay. Or you could do what I did, which was to basically mock one up. I faked one. It was a little bit more work, but you could do it that way. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Now, of course, if you're doing the whatchamacallit, the perfume, obviously, you don't need to do that. But you should take a look at perfume to see what kind of information is on a perfume box so that you can actually put the right information on a perfume box. I don't happen to have a perfume box here, so I can't exactly tell you what's going to go on a perfume box, but you should probably take a look at that. I do know, though, that they will more than likely have a UPC code on a perfume box because they've got UPC codes on everything now, right?
Yep, they'll probably have ingredients on them as well because people are allergic to certain things.
Absolutely. So you need to figure out how that would look on a conventional box. They would probably have a somewhat standardized way of doing it. And the reason that is because of allergies and stuff. They don't want to make it so it gets missed, because there could be lawsuits involved if it's not clearly stated. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a way that they do it. You probably should look into that. Just find out what that would be like and make sure that you try to do it that way. So nutritional information and or cosmetic information, whatever, and UPC. there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. As far as week 3 is concerned, detailed final composition of packaging design. So what you understand is that this week yours can be very loose. Mine is very tight. I'm going to actually show you how I did mine in the tightest way possible, okay? And I'll focus next week on, reviewing all this stuff to make sure that you're clear on the whole thing so that you can actually do it. But yours can be somewhat looser than mine. When I mean looser, try to be as exact as you can with it. But remember, next week, when you actually work on this packaging, next week is when you really want to put the whole thing together solidly. Okay. In other words, this week you can be a little looser with it. You can be in the process with it. I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving. Next week is where I want everything, all the nuts and bolts, I want them in place. Okay.
Okay.
Are you clear on that?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Is it Choxy? Did I say it right?
No, it's Shakis.
Shaki?
Shakis.
Shakis.
Yes.
Okay, that's a hard one for me. I'm very sorry. Hi, Shaki. How you doing?
Shakis.
Shakis.
Good.
Have you been here before?
No, sir.
Well, welcome. Do you know Brienne and Daryl?
No, sir. Hello,
No?
everyone.
Hello.
Where are you from, Shakis?
Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, that's very nice. How's the weather down there?
Looks like it's gonna rain today, but
Everybody's getting rain. Daryl, are you getting rain by you?
Nope, it's bright and sunny today.
Well, you're lucky. Okay, so I already asked Daryl and Brienne. I'll ask you, Shakis. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Are you? Your work is good. You got any problems or any questions or anything at all? Any issues?
not far as the work. I had a little issue with the multi-page, combining them together to a multi-page.
Oh, you're talking about the layout, the box layout.
Yes.
Well, listen, here's what I did. If you go back, you'll see this. I'll quickly tell you, though. I actually went into my recorded session and I pulled out that whole section and I made a separate video just on that, and it's in my YouTube, and I've sent you links to it. And it's also in recorded sessions, sessions recording. It's in there as well. So you can go in and you can, if you want, watch exactly how I did it step by step without having to watch the entire 2-hour video.
Okay.
If that helps you. Have you done it? Are you finished with it?
No, not exactly, no.
Okay. Well, if you want, I pulled out just the section where I'm doing the box demonstration. So you can go in and you don't have to try to find it in the video. You can just go open this other video up and it'll show you the entire process, start to finish, as a separate little video that you can watch and stop it and go back and do whatever you want to do with it. It's in the YouTube site. There are links I sent you guys. All three of you got the emails I sent today, right?
I did see that.
Good. Okay. So, yeah, so that's what I wanted to let you know. I also did the same thing with the rotating bottle so that you actually can go in and study how that's done. All right, so that kind of is it. What's the other thing we have to do week 3? So we have week 3, part 1. Part 2 is a custom label design. So next week what we're going to be doing is not only are we going to finishing up our box, our overall box, we're going to also create a label to go around our product, whether that product is our bottle of wine or hot sauce, or whether it's our container of, or a bottle, I guess. It's actually a bottle, isn't it? Because it's perfume. It's not really a cream or anything. It's a perfume, isn't it? Is it perfume?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it would be a bottle of some kind, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's it. Also, we went over Shakis. We went over the generator. The what are they called? My mind is going blank on barcode generator. We did a barcode generator. Unfortunately, mine didn't work for me, but Brienne did hers, said hers worked, so my guess would be that it'll be fine for you. Just remember to put in 12 digits, right, Brianne?
I just did 11.
Yeah, but
Because it says it's 11 fixed, and so I only put 11, and then it put the last number in for me.
which is fine because it's not a real barcode. If you were really doing a barcode, you'd put in 12 numbers, but you just want to generate a barcode so that you see how it's done and you have a barcode. Did you check it to make sure it came through and it's usable?
It saved it as a JPEG.
You have it though? You'll be able to you got it downloaded?
Yeah, I saved it to my desktop.
Okay, so you're all set and you guys shouldn't have any trouble with it. All right?
Okay.
All right, so unless you have anything you want to say or add or ask, I'm going to get out of here. Is that good? We all good?
I'm good.
Everybody else?
Good.
All right. All right, so I'm opening up Adobe Illustrator. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of little things here on my logo. This is my logo. It isn't completely done, but it is pretty much done. And I just wanted to give you an idea of what I did and how I did it a little bit. So are you guys familiar? Are you guys familiar with Live Paint?
A little bit. I haven't really used it much.
Well, I'm going to demonstrate Live Paint, and there's also the paintbrush tool. Have you ever worked with the paintbrush tool?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me tell you what I know or observe about the paintbrush tool. I don't really get to use the paintbrush tool very much, and I actually don't get to use the Live Paint tool very much. The Live Paint tool isn't so bad. It's not that difficult to do. The paintbrush tool is a little bit difficult to do with a mouse. I think it's a little bit easier to do if you have like a tablet and a pen. Have any of you got a tablet and a pen?
No.
No, I don't either. I don't use them, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying you have to use them. I'm just saying that my immediate observation of working with the paintbrush tool is it's a little bit difficult to maneuver a mouse in a way that you would want to maneuver the mouse to do what you want to do. Like, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. My demonstration of the paintbrush tool is to show you how I would paint a white banner. See that banner right there?
Yes.
Okay, there's no white in there. See, it doesn't even connect. You see how that's like it's like a black area here. See that? I can select it, and if I want, I can make it yellow. Watch. If I click on my eyedropper tool, so I can make that yellow.
Yes.
Okay, that's because it's just a floating vector object. This white area right here, where it says Wild Bill, behind Wild Bill, you can't really grab that because it's part of the background. So when I export this thing, there's not going to be any white there. So I have to somehow or other create that white in order to have a white banner if I want a white banner. Am I making sense to you with what I'm talking about here?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no white banner, and you can tell right here. You see how there's like a gap there? And over here, do you see how there's a little gap there? Those two little gaps connect the big background to that inside section of the banner. So when this logo came to me, there's nothing in there. It's just the white background. If I were to go in, let's see if I can show you this. Let me grab this green thing here, and let me bring this over, and let's go Object, Arrange, Send to Back, all right? And let me make this thing bigger, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There, you see what I'm talking about? You see how on his face and on the hands here, there's no fill there. Like that white area, that's a fill. You see that little white area?
Yeah.
That's a little fill area. There's no fill. Well, actually, there's a fill here, but it doesn't look like there's anything on it. That's what it looks like. Anyway, this thing here, there is no area here. So it's part of the background. That's why you are seeing what you're seeing. And what I need to do is I need to create a white background behind that Wild Bill because I want it to be a white banner. Okay? So what I'm going to do, there's two ways I know how to do this. I can do it with the pen tool, or I could do it with the paintbrush tool. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a tiny little demonstration of how to do both of them, so that you get a sense of what these tools do. All right?
Before you do that, so if you were to keep that just the way, well, without the green there.
Yeah.
And you were to, say you were going to use it someplace else and you did transparency, like.
No. Well, whoa. Hold on. I'll show you. Look it. You see here? Watch this. Watch. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Watch this. Look at Wild Bill. See the logo?
Yes.
Okay. You see how there's a white area behind it?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm telling you is that white area did not exist. I had to build it.
Okay.
That part of the logo did not get to me. It wasn't part of the original logo. So what I'm saying is, if you look at this logo and you start using it, and you want to put it against the background, like in this case, I'm putting against the background, which is a yellow star. Part of it's going into the background, which is the orange color. If I had left this alone, that area would be partly yellow and partly orange, and it would look ridiculous.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, in this case, I discovered that I had to build something in order to make that banner look correct. So that makes sense now, right?
Yes.
All right. So does that answer your question?
Yep.
Good. All right. So what I'm going to say to you, though, is there's two ways that we could go about doing this. And what I'm going to do is, first thing I want to do is I want to point out that, you remember I talked to you last week about loading colors into your swatches panel? You remember me talking about that?
Yes.
I told you that there are a bunch of swatches that come when you open up a document, and most of those colors don't relate to anything that you're doing. Remember me talking about that?
I don't, but I know that from another class.
Okay. And all you do is, if you come up here, you can click on select all unused, and any color that's not being unused will select. And you can click the garbage can and throw them away, and then put all your own colors in, right?
That I didn't know. Do that again?
Yeah. All right. So I got these colors in here. These are actually the colors that I want. Better yet, let me do this. Let me go file new. Let me show you the right way. I'm going to go file new, and I'm just going to open up a new document. Okay. That's what your swatch panel looks like when you open up a new document. You've seen that before, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of those colors, but in terms of you and me creating a real project, we probably are not going to use any of those colors in our project. We're probably going to be either doing one of two things: using colors that are branding colors, or we're going to be creating our own colors. And our own colors will be different than the colors that are in there, most likely. That you'll agree, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what I say to you is, as you become more and more knowledgeable with this program, and you become more and more professional with it, what you want to start doing is you want to start controlling your panels. One way that you can control your panels is by removing these swatches and putting in the swatches that you want. That's what we're about to do. So with the swatch panel open, you go to the drop-down menu, and you go down and you select all unused. Now, all of those colors are going to highlight because currently none of them are being used in the document, right?
Right.
Right. You hit the garbage can and delete the swatches. Yes, I do. And they're all gone. Now, this one for some reason doesn't like to go away, so all you do is click on that, hit the garbage can, and delete that. And what you're left with essentially is none, registration, which is a form of black, you leave it alone, and white and black, which is two colors that you're probably going to use anyway. And then from here, you can go and you can load whatever colors that you want into your swatches library, so that you're now working with just the colors that you're going to be using in your project. And if something happens to Brianne, Daryl, or Shakis, if one of you guys gets sick and have to hand that job over to me, I will know that the colors that are in your swatches panel are the right colors for me to work with. So does that make sense?
You know how I was doing it?
How?
I was selecting each color individually and dragging it to the trash can.
Nah, you don't want to do that. This is so much faster.
Ever.
Yeah. This is so much faster. All you do, come right here and select all unused. And I would do the first thing that I generally do. I don't always do this. I mean, if I'm just working on something rough, if I'm doing something very rough and it's not going to be colored yet, I may just go in and I may start working on it and then come and do this later on. But what I am saying to you is that before you actually begin to start putting colors into the designs that you create using Illustrator, this is a good thing to do because it'll get rid of all those colors. It'll keep you from being tempted to use those colors, and then it will force you to make a decision about what colors you're going to use. And you can either find those colors from a branding manual if you're working with somebody who has such a thing, or you can create colors that you think you want to use for your project. And there's a number of ways that you can make those colors. All right?
That's amazing.
So I wanted to show you that because now I can go back. I can close this. Now I can go back. I don't want to save it. I can go back to him. And when I open my swatches panel, you see what I did? Look at my logo color. There are my swatches. Let me go edit undo here. Undo scale, edit undo send to back, and edit undo move. Okay, so these were the colors that came out of my, I use these colors in my, my whatchamacallit, my mood board, right? And what I did was before I actually started applying the colors to my guy, I went in and I loaded each one of these individually. And you know how to do that. You just basically select the color like here, like here, like here, like here, and the color appears here, and it also appears here. And since it's loaded, it'll highlight. Now, if this color wasn't in here, all I do is add a new swatch. I'm not going to do it because I'll add a duplicate of it. I'm going to cancel it. But that's all it takes to load those in. So now I have all the colors that I want to use in my design in here. So I can start working with those colors to colorize my logo. All right?
Okay.
Are there any questions about that?
No.
Good. All right, so I'm not going to do so ultimately you see what I'm doing here. I'm basically coming in and I'm colorizing this guy. I'm not going to go and do the whole thing because I've already done it and I got a bunch of other stuff I want to do. But I did want to just demonstrate a couple of little techniques for you. I wanted to show you how to work with the live paint bucket, and I wanted to show you how to work with the brush, and I wanted to show you the other way that I could create a background area of white here. So I'm going to go back to my logo start because I haven't done any of this yet. And what I'm going to do is, those are my colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by going to my layers panel. And I want you to see that there's my layer with my black logo. I'm going to call this B-L-A-C-K, black. That's the black part of my logo. See it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this is my white part of the logo, W-H-I-T-E, white, okay, white. Now, I'm going to lock the black part of the logo because I don't want to mess with the black part of the logo. And one of the things that I want to do is I want to do two things. I want to show you how to build this banner down here, making it white. Now, if I make it white, you're not going to see it. So what I'm going to do is instead, I'm just going to make it yellow. The only reason I'm doing it is so that you could see what I'm doing, all right? So it's going to be yellow instead of white, but my intent would ultimately be for it to be white. I'm only using yellow so you can see it's a visual aid. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to choose yellow, and you see how it loads the yellow into here?
Yep.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I got my white layer selected so I can close this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to start off by getting the paintbrush tool. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to zoom in a little bit. That's good. Get my paintbrush tool. And then what I want to do is I want to come in here carefully. I don't know how big this paintbrush tool is. It's 5-point round. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it, I'm going to try to use the bracket key to make it a little bit bigger. How big did I get this? It didn't change it much. Touch 15-point round. That's probably big. Let me see. Whoop, wait a minute. Yeah, wrong layer. Okay, got that right there. There we go. See how that looks? Okay, so you see what it did?
Yeah.
It painted, but it painted on that layer, and that layer's behind there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down like this, okay? And then I'm just going to kind of work my way over this way, and I'm going to paint in this area and just try not to go outside the black area. You want to paint behind it. So I'm just going to come carefully fill this in, okay? Don't worry too much about the black because it's painting on the layer behind it. Watch, I'm almost done. Right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully come over here, and I'm going to very carefully come over to where I can just come over to that edge, and maybe I can just kind of, yeah, kind of slip it right down there. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, see what I did?
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to kind of close this little box like that. I did a crappy job with that, but like I say, it's very hard to do this there. Okay, so now I have my yellow, which is ultimately going to be white. So you understand what I did? I used the layer behind it, and I used my paintbrush to just paint that in. That's one way to do it. Are there any questions about that? Do you think you can handle that? What do you guys think?
Okay.
You think you understand what I did? Does it make sense?
It does.
It does to me.
Good. All right. So that's one way that you could do this. The other way that you could do it is a slightly more conventional way, and that is to use the pen tool. Now, to do the pen tool, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to click, and I'm going to make sure I'm on my layer. I'm going to click. Is that the pen tool? Yeah. Click. All right. And then I'm going to come over to here, click and drag. Okay. And I went a little too far, so I'm going to have to come back up like this a little bit. There we go. And then I'll come over like this, and I'll drag like that. See what I'm doing?
Yes.
Let me drag it. There we go. That's what I want. That's good. And click here. Every time I click here, what I do is I basically change the direction of the curve, which makes it easier for me to control it. So I'm just going to come up, and I'm going to drag this up something like this, okay? And I'll click this again, and I'll come way down to here, click, and then I'll come all the way over to here, and I'll click and drag, okay? And then click, and come up to here, click, and click. And then what I want to do is I just want to change it to a fill. Okay, so that's the other way that you could do it. So basically now what I've done is I've filled in that wild bill, and it's on the layer behind the black layer. So it's going to be in a proper stacking order so that it'll work as part of my composition. And then what I'll do in the end here is I'll change it to white. I'll hold this down, and I'll have to select all of this. This is a little bit more tricky because there's bits and pieces. So actually what I'll do is, see what I'll do here? I'll target it. Did you see what I did? I clicked that little button to target it, and all of that selected. Yeah, if you do that, watch this. If you come over here, watch what it says. Click to target, drag to move. I'm not going to move it. I'm going to click it. And what that'll do is that'll select everything that's on that layer. So when I come up into my colors and I choose white, it all goes white. Oh, but that's because it's a stroke. The other's a stroke. So I'm going to change it to stroke, and then I'll choose white for that, and I should have white for all of it. There we go. Okay? So now that, if I deselect it, that's actually all white. So if I were to go and create a shape, I'll show you what happens now. Drag this guy out. Let's make it green again. All right? And I don't want to white on it. I come over here, and I make it bigger like this. I go Object, Arrange, Send to Back. See what we get?
Nice.
That's what you do when you have a hole like that. okay, when you have something that isn't filled in. And the problem with this area, just this area, problem with this area is it doesn't close. So it becomes part of the greater background. So in order for me to isolate this, I actually have to create something that I can make white. Okay? Now, you may not have this problem with your logo, but if you're using Wild Bill, if you're doing this hot sauce, you will have this problem, and I wanted to show you how to do it. And the other thing, too, is since this is an Illustrator class, you need to know some things about Illustrator. I'm teaching you things about Illustrator. This is something that you should know about, okay? Are we good? Any questions?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to delete this thing, get rid of that. And now what I want to do is, let me close this for a minute, and let me close this. Oh, and let me unlock that, and let me lock that. Now bring me back to the black layer, and I can close this. And let me bring this guy down a little bit. And now what I want to do is I want to show you a little bit about using the live paint bucket. So what you do is you click on this guy to select him. That's the first thing when you're going to use a live paint bucket. You click on him to select him. Now, here's the thing that you have to understand about the live paint bucket. You can now just go in with the live paint bucket, and you can sit on any one of these areas in here, and you can fill those areas with a color. That's what the live paint bucket does. Neither one of you guys have ever worked with the live paint bucket before?
We did an assignment early on with a goofy dog on a goofy land.
Okay.
But the space was really big, and so it was really easy to use the live paint bucket. And when I've tried to do it with other projects, it wasn't easy to do.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let me just show you a little bit about it now. And then you can make a determination after you see what I do, whether you think it's easy or not. I'm going to try to make it easy. I'll try to show you what to do with this in a very limited way, and then you can decide for yourself whether you now think it's easy or not. All right, so you're going to select the live paint bucket tool right there. And again, like I said, I just want you to know, I don't really use this very much. I don't get to use it very much because I just don't have projects that come along where I do this. One thing I want to do before I start, this is what I want to do. See this guy right here? And hold down the shift key. I select those two shapes right there. I'm going to go object. Let's go, oh boy. Let's go edit, cut. Okay. Because I couldn't lock it for some reason. I don't know why. All right, now I'm going to select this thing. And let me get the live paint bucket tool. All right, now here's how this works. This thing's selected, right?
Yes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to come and sit over some spot. Let's start off by doing his little neckerchief here. All right, now when I sit over top of there, you see what it says? It says click to make a live paint group. Now what you want to do is you want to use the arrow keys. You know your arrow keys in the lower corner, the lower right corner?
Mm-hmm.
The right arrow and the left arrow. If you click and go through your arrows, your left arrow and your right arrow, what it will do, can you see that little thing in the center there, how it's going from color to color?
Yep.
That's what you do. You go either right or left until you get the color that you want. And I think I want, yeah, let me go back. I want the bright red, all right? Once you get the color that you want in the middle, you click. And it gives you the bright red color. That's all there is to it. Not hard. Now let's make his shirt yellow. So I'm going to come over here on this thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, go through my colors and click. Control Z. All right, here we go. All right, now you got to get off that color altogether. I got it set to yellow. I click yellow. I come over here. Come on. It sometimes is a little bit, oh, here we go. Oh, man. Here we go. Got it. There. And let's make that one yellow. It's sometimes a little bit difficult. There we go. Click yellow. Let's make this yellow. Okay, let's make that yellow. You got to sit it just right. You got to be careful not to click it until you get it just right. Oh, geez. It's the wrong one. See it? It's there. Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yellow. Okay. So you got that? It's the little, see the little arrow? The little point of the arrow. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I want to make his gloves. I want to make his gloves. I want to start making his gloves yellow as well. All right. So I'm going to try to see if I can get in there and get his gloves to go yellow. Some of these don't have, some of these have fills that you have to go in and you have to try to paint them. Let's see. Some of these do and some of them don't. There we go. There's one that does. There's one that does. There's one that does. These I don't think have little let me see. Let me just try this. Okay, so see what happened? This thing here won't select that color. So what I did was I went in and I clicked on it, and all I'm gonna do is come up here and I'm going to click yellow to fill that. And I'll see if I can do the same there. See, I got the same thing there, so I can click that and fill that. And then I'll click that and I'll fill that. So if the live paint doesn't want to work in any particular area, just exit from it for a minute and go in and select the area. See, now that one area, see that area is not selecting? See that when I click on it? Watch. That area selects, that one don't, that one does. Those areas are not selecting. That one did. That means that there's like a fill in there. That's what that means. When you do that, that means there's a fill in there. Now, for the rest of those hands, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to select this, go back in, select this guy, and I'm going to have to get my live paint bucket tool again, and I'm going to have to see if I can fill this by virtue of my live paint bucket tool. So you see what I'm doing? And when it highlights in red like that, see what I'm doing? It's highlighting red.
Yep.
It's letting me fill it. Okay? So now he has his gloves all filled. So what you're going to do, I'll deselect this now.
Missed his thumb.
Yep, I missed his thumb. So let's see what I need to fix that. Let me go back out. Let me see if that's a live bucket thing. Let's try it with the live bucket. Yep, there it is. Okay, so there he is. So basically, that's what I did. And the other thing that I did was with him selected, you know, I came in with my live bucket tool, and I believe I made that yellow, and I made that yellow, and then I changed that color to a bright red. I didn't want to go with the orange. I think actually I went with the dark red on that one, the brown red. I think that's what I did. Let me see. There, that's the color I think I used. No, I didn't. Control Z, I used a bright red. I used that for his hat band. That's what I did. Trying to remember how I did this. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to actually use this. I'm just using it as a demonstration, right?
Right.
All right, click on that. There we go. See there? Click on that, that, and that, and that. Look. That's no good. That's no good. Hold on. Okay. All right, so I get feedback from somebody. Somebody turn your mic off. Is that it? Yeah, we got it. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do. Two things, actually. Let me select this thing, and I'm going to use the live paint bucket up here, and I'm going to make that like the hat brown, the hat band brown like that. Okay, what I did was I just continued. Let's go edit, paste, and place. Let's see if that's going to. Yeah, okay. So there you go. Let's go to the view menu, and let's zoom this out. And let me come and sort of set this in position. Then the other thing that I did with this was I chose the wild bill, all right? And I made the wild bill bright red, okay, like that. And then gourmet hot sauce, if I'm not mistaken, I got to try to get all of this. Oh, boy. All right, let's see. Oop. Oh. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, I think I can just pull it off. Yeah, I made that that color. Okay, let's go view, zoom out. All right, so you see where I'm heading with this? You guys, just for a moment, do you guys understand the steps that I did? Do you have any questions about any of it? Are you good? Are you clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So really, you're going to have to take a look at your logo. You're going to have to see what your logo does, and you're going to have to choose to color it however your logo gets colored. I'm going to go to my logo color. There's my actual finished piece. That's what my finished piece looks like, okay? So after I spent the time and effort to do all this, this is what I end up with, all right?
Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying to you is that you'll look at your logo and you'll decide what you do with your logo, all right? No questions, right?
No questions.
Good. We move on. All right. So box graphics. Here's the box graphics. Let's go to View, and let's fit Artboard and Window. There's our box graphics. Okay, so now remember what I told you. Yours can be rough this time. What I decided to do with mine, though, is I decided to show you how I built mine in its most final way, so that you have a really good understanding of the kind of elements that you're going to need on your box, okay? So I did a complete box where I really, now I created these before, so I added the Wild Bill Gourmet Hot Sauce. I didn't put it on these, and I figured, you know what, for our purposes, it doesn't matter. I wanted you to see what a box looks like. Remember, there are two ways that we can apply graphics. We can either apply them by distortion, which is how I did this. You remember me working on this last week without these graphics, where I actually pulled these boxes out and I showed you how to do an extrude, and then this one I showed you how to put that surface on it, not through an extrude, but to distort it. Remember I did that last week, or the last session?
Yep, you did it on Monday.
Right. Take a look at the box on the left. Can you see what I did to the box on the left, though?
You added the bottle on the other
Yeah. So what I did was I added another panel to this. I did that the same way. Let me quickly show you. Here are my symbols. Take a look. There is a front and there is a side. So what I did was I created a secondary label, or a secondary panel piece of art, which I saved as a symbol. Went back in and I applied it to the box. So I'm going to try to show you. We have an hour. I got a little under an hour. I'm going to do as much of this as I possibly can for you within that hour. But one of the things I'd like to do is show you how I made that secondary panel and how I applied it. Because this is, you know, again, really nice way to make your box. You can do this. You can select. Let me do this first of all. Is it locked? No. Let me go Object, Lock, Selection. Okay. So what you can do is you can grab this guy right here and go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Place. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this. Go Object, Hide, Selection. Okay. And I'm going to drag this guy over to here. Oops. You know what? Control Z. I didn't get the whole thing. Let me do that. Shift and that. Okay. And now let me drag all that over there. Okay. And let me group that. Let me go Object, Group. Okay. So now what I did was I duplicated my bottle. Now, this is the bottle. Remember I told you last time that I had a bottle that I expanded? Remember I told you that?
Yes.
Right, and that's what it looks like when you expand it. It no longer just has the little edge. It actually is the entire bottle, and it's all a bunch of vector shapes. It's expanded. In order for me to do this effect, I have to expand it. If I try to do it any other way, it won't work. What I want to do is I want to show you the same way that I put this front on, which is to distort it on, okay? So I can show you how to do this now, get this over with, and then I can concentrate on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to actually render, I'm going to draw me out a panel. And I'm going to bring the panel over here, just like this, okay? And I'm going to place the panel, Object, Arrange, Send to Back, Okay, and I'm going to make sure I got the panel exactly where I want it. I think I want the panel to be a little higher, like about like that. Okay, so now this is my entire panel that I'm going to distort onto that side right there. All right, and you guys have done this before, haven't you?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, somebody I thought did for another class. Anyway,
Photoshop with the billboards.
that's okay. Is this Brienne who said that?
Yep.
Brienne, you did this in Photoshop?
Yeah, with the billboard project.
Okay, Shaki say that you didn't have the Photoshop course yet with the billboard?
Not that I can remember. No, the Photoshop I did, we had to take like different objects and make them look like one picture.
Okay, you'll probably get that course. That course is probably still coming for you. I don't know what number that course is, but okay. So here's what you can do. You can do this one of two ways. You can either just leave this thing as a color like this, or you can select it and you can set the fill color to none. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select this whole thing and go Object Group. Okay, now why am I doing this? I'll tell you why. If I were to just take Wild Bill Gourmet Hot Sauce and this bottle, it's going to be harder for me to distort onto the side of this shape here. But if I put this shape on it here, it'll be easier to do it. You understand?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm making it no color because in this way it'll be, the color will kind of blend into the background a little bit better. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to select this and go Object Lock Selection. Now that's locked. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy right here and I'm going to move it over to right about there. Okay? And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to, it's selected, I'm going to engage my free transform tool. And Brienne, which one do I use?
The free distort at the bottom.
That's a girl. You got it. Absolutely. I grab my free distort and I'm going to take this point, and actually I'm going to zoom in on this. This is really easy, isn't it, Brienne?
It is.
It's actually very simple. Let me do this. This panel's always in my way.
Every time you show me something, I think, oh my gosh, I wish somebody would have showed me that earlier.
Well, you saw this before. I'm not showing you this for the first
I
time.
know. When you showed me on Monday, I was like, oh, I wish I knew that for a previous project.
Yeah, it always is the case, right? All I'm doing is I'm going to distort that by dragging that point and place it right there. Okay? And you see what it does? It distorts the image. Okay? I'm going to take this one and I'm going to drag that one in until in this one I'm going to over distort because I can't see it. There. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to adjust it and fix it. Whoop! Control Z. It automatically, I didn't get the point. This is the point right here. It's this guy. I'm going to drag that down and place it right on that corner there. All right? And for some odd reason, oh, this one came out of the way. That's what it is. I'm going to take this guy and drag it in until it hits. And this is now going to give me trouble. Tonight it's going to give me trouble here. It's going to give me trouble. Instead of just going in the way I want it, it's going to give me lots of trouble. But eventually I'll get it. There we go. Got it. There. Okay? So there you now have your art distorted on the side of your box. So what do you guys think? Does that seem easy enough for you?
Yes, that's pretty cool.
Do you have any questions about what I did? Is there anything I can explain to you about it? I mean, basically all you're doing is you're taking one of the panels, which you know what size it is, and you're just going to create it as a rectangular shape, and you're either going to make it a color or make it no color. Now what this does is this makes this thing sort of use the shadow part of the color of your piece. So now you have to look at this and say, well, now this art is too bright for that side, isn't it?
A little bit.
Right. So you select it and go to the View menu and Hide Edges. Now it's still selected, but you're not seeing the edges. So now the question is, how do I go about making that look like it's on the side of that box properly? Well, I'm either going to do one of two things. I'm either going to apply a blend mode to it, which we talked about last time, or I'm going to make it partially transparent. I don't know which I'm going to do yet because I have to do a little experimentation to figure out which one will work better. So it is select, and remember, this is selected. Go to the View menu, Show Edges. See, it's selected. Oh, I see something wrong here. This guy here should not be there. Let me fix that. Let me just fix that. I like things to be right. So let me click on that. Let me bring that up like that. That should be more correct. Come on, you. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, that's better. Okay? I select it and View, Hide Edges. All right, so when I go View, Hide Edges, do you know what I'm doing? Can you tell me what I'm doing?
You're hiding the edges.
Yeah, you're hiding the highlighting that occurs when you select an object. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can view this thing live when I apply effects to it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the View menu and I'm going to open up, Window, and I'm going to go to Transparency. I'm going to open up Transparency, bring Transparency over here. Now, these are my blend modes. I have no idea which one of these blend modes will work. None of them might work. I'll have to see. I'm going to try Darken first. And see, Darken's too extreme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's try Multiply. Multiply is a little bit better, but it's still a little bit much. Let's try Color Burn. So that doesn't work quite right either. I don't think these are going to work at all. Not really. That's not quite right. Let's try Screen. That's a little too lively for it. And I don't think blend modes are going to work. Overlay. Overlay's not bad. I think maybe I could go with overlay. So one of the ways that I could do this is overlay. Remember, what you're trying to do is you're trying to simulate the shadowing that appears because it's sitting on the side of the box, correct?
Right.
You know what I'm trying, you realize what I'm trying to do with this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I can either do it that way, in this case overlay, there's also soft light, which isn't bad, and hard light. Hard light's not bad, but I think if I add some transparency to it, let me bring it down to 70. You know what? That's really pretty good. What do you think?
That looks better than any of the other ones.
So what I did, and just understand what transparency or what the transparency panel does. Transparency panel gives you access to blend modes. Blend modes takes whatever piece of art that you have selected. And if it's sitting in front of a color, like in this case, you got that graphic sitting in front of that panel, which is a color, it will attempt to take that color and somehow or other multiply it or subtract it or add it to that background color, blending it together. And then the opacity, well, you know what opacity does. Opacity makes things partially transparent. So by combining the hard light with the opacity, I get something that looks pretty darn good. Wouldn't you say that looks pretty real?
Yes.
Okay, so even if you don't do the entire three-dimensional extrude or revolve, you can distort on the box the panels. I distorted the front panel the same way I did this side panel. Shakise, you weren't here to see that, but Brienne was here, and it's the same exact process. All you're doing literally is you're taking the artwork that's on a flat panel and you're using the free distort tool right here, to distort it until it's sitting in the proper position on that panel. Okay?
Okay.
Good. All right, so let's go to the View menu and fit Artboard and Window. And let me do this. Let me come in and let me go Object, Show All. There we go. And actually, if you take a look at this, this is the one that we just did. And this is the one where I applied it in the filter. Remember? Oh, you didn't see me do it. I applied this in the filter. Look at the difference. They're very close, aren't they?
Yeah.
This one's a little bit darker. This one's a little bit lighter. But in both cases, I think they look very realistic. Either way, you get a very nice approach to this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let me go to my layers panel, and let me do a few of these things. All right, so I'm going to hide my background. First of all, let me hide my trifold. I keep my trifold up here, my trim and fold, because I want you, let me close all these things. There is my bleed. There is my trim and fold. Let me come back. Okay, so there's the trim and fold, right? We did this last, or Monday night. So this you should have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to, what?
I said I'm working on it.
That's fine. Are you okay with it?
Yes, I'm still watching the video. I've been working, so today is my day to like try to do everything.
Okay, in case you didn't know, I actually cut the video part, the demonstration part, out of the 2-hour video. So you don't have to watch the entire 2-hour video. There's actually a separate video that you can watch that shows just how to do the box. So it might make it easier for you.
Today.
Huh?
That was the email I got today.
Yep.
Yes, I seen the email. I just haven't went in.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you for next time so that you know that you can actually go in and watch that instead of going to all the trouble. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off by hiding these sample boxes because I want to concentrate, and this guy here should be on, let me get that thing selected. This thing here is, man, where are you?
I have a question now.
Go ahead.
Being that you just hid that and it's still showing the transparency that you just did, should you group that whole box together?
Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Yeah, I could group that together. Let me see. And for some, oh, I know it is. View, show edges. I had the edges off. There we go. All right, I select all this guy. Actually, I don't even need to select it, group it. All I have to do is move it down to the proper layer. Okay, now it's on the proper layer. I don't even have to group it. Now all I can do is hide that, see, and that whole thing goes away.
Okay.
I just had it on the trim fold layer, which is not the layer that I wanted. See, when I was doing that, I wasn't really paying attention to my layering, okay? I actually built these layers so that it would be easier for you to comprehend what I'm doing when I do this. So here's the deal. This is my background layer. We're going to do that first. And then these are my graphics. I'm going to apply as many of these graphics as I can apply to this box and show you how I do all this so that I end up with an entire package that looks like this, okay? Which is what you're going to present to me, all right?
Okay.
Now, I am going to hide the background, hide the graphics, and I'm going to go to the bleed layer, and I'm going to put in 2 more layers. And I'm going to name my layer 7 background 2, BACKGROUND 2. And I'm going to name this layer graphics 2, GRAPHICS 2. Okay? And trim fold layer, I'm going to leave alone because the trim fold layer, I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to just leave it there because the trim fold layer is what I'm going to use in the end to determine what it is that I'm actually, how the box folds up. I'm going to keep that as part of my presentation, all right? So the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a background. Now, I made the decision that for my background, I was going to have every single panel. And you can do this. This is okay. You don't have to. You can do it another way. I made the decision that every single panel is going to have orange on it. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come down to my bleed layer. And I'm going to click on my targeting button. And when I do that, come on. Is it locked? No, it is locked, isn't it? That's what the problem is. It's locked. There we go. There we go. So I've targeted the bleed layer, right? I'm going to go edit copy, all right? And then I'm going to click on the other background layer, and I'm going to lock that bleed layer. Okay, so I'm locking the bleed layer, the original bleed layer. I'm targeting my, or better yet, to make this easier for you, instead of just locking it, I'm going to hide it. All right. I've got my background 2 layer, right? And I'm going to go edit, paste in place. And all I did was I just duplicated that bleed line on another layer. All right. Is that clear to you guys?
Yes.
Not a problem? You're clear on it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you understand exactly what I'm doing, because you're going to be doing something very similar. So now what I'm going to do is, this is my background layer. I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to switch from my stroke, which is going to be set to none. I'm going to remove the stroke off of this, and I'm going to choose my fill. Okay? And I want orange for my box. I want the entire box to be orange. So what I'm doing, remember what that line is. It's a bleed line, isn't it? Remember we talked about that red line being a bleed line?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever that color or graphic or whatever, wherever it goes off the page, it has to go to the bleed line, doesn't it?
Right.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm going to have my color everywhere on my box. It's going to go off every single panel of my box. So that means it's going to go off to the bleed line everywhere around that box, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to click on the fill of orange, and now look at that. Deselect it. I have my color filling the entire box, and it goes to the bleed, which is exactly where it should go.
So if we don't want every panel to be a color, then we don't do this step.
Not quite the same way. You do it slightly different. What you're going to do is you're going to eliminate any panel that you don't want. You'll build it slightly different. You'll do a similar thing, but you're just going to eliminate the panel that you don't want to have the color on. You'll eliminate it.
So, and since but in your panel now you have the glue panel in there, which we talked about on Monday, that isn't supposed to get color.
It's not going to get color, and I'm going to show you how to deal with that right now. Are you ready?
Okay.
It's
Yep.
really simple. Wait do you see? So, okay, so let's get out of here for a second. We're on my background 2 layer, right? And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get a rectangle. I'm just going to drag a rectangle just like that, okay? And I'm going to, using my right arrow, I'm going to just slowly move that rectangle over until it hits that bleed line, right about like that, okay? All right?
Okay.
We got this shape here, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and I got that shape right there. 2 shapes, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go to the window menu and go to Pathfinder, and I'm going to choose minus front. And see what it did?
Okay.
It removed the color from the glue area, but this is very important. I also allowed for 1/8 of an inch overlap into the glue flap. Do you know why?
Because that part of it when you fold it down, you see it.
Yeah, if I were to go right to that fold, and if they folded this thing just a fraction off, you would have a white line there. So in order to make this thing absolutely perfect, what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to make sure that you have this thing going into that glue flap a little tiny bit. You don't want it to go all the way in it because you don't want it to mess up the glue, but you want to make sure that it goes over the flap a little tiny bit so that it will, you know, basically give you the clearance that you need to put the glue on without it impacting the color. The background color might cause the glue to fail. Okay?
Right.
So there we go. We've got the background done. The background's done. Now, the other thing that I did here is, if we go up to my background, the other thing I did was I created these things right here, these little decorative elements. So what did I do to do that? Basically what I did was I came in, I'm going to zoom in on this so we can see it a little bit better. I came in and I used the rectangle tool. And all I did was I came over and I just dragged myself out a rectangle, right like that, just a tiny rectangle. And I filled it with, what were the colors I used? Green, white, and red, right? Yeah, green, white, and red. Okay, so that one there is going to be that color right there. That's it. And then I'm going to go edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And I'm just going to move it down a little bit, about like that. And I'm going to get the free transform tool, and I'm going to drag it open, make it a little bit wider, about like that. And maybe I'll even move it up a little bit. Okay? And then I'm just going to do this again, edit, copy, or actually edit, paste in place, because I already have it copied. And then I'm just going to move it down and get it to where I want it at the bottom here. Get it in position. I want it to be about the same. That's good enough. And this is going to be green. And this is going to be, that's actually black. What happened to my green? Didn't I get my green in there? I didn't get my green in there. This is going to be white. That's going to be white. And let me go back to my logo color. Let me grab this green, edit, copy. Let's go back into my box graphics and edit, paste. There he is, and there it is. And let's go new swatch, green. There we go. Okay, so you see how easy it is to do this stuff? If you make a mistake or something, click on that, make it green. Okay? So there's step one. Step one now is I have my three little bars right here. Okay, there's nothing hard about that, right?
Right.
All right, so if you want to do something like this, this is all you have to do it. Now, you'll notice that on my original, these bars are not straight like this. They're all kind of wrinkly and curly and crazy. So I select all three of these guys, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Effect menu, and I'm going to come down to Distort and Transform, and I'm going to free distort this thing. Oh, nope, sorry. Effect, Distort, and Transform, Roughen. That's what it is. And I'm going to hit Preview, and see how it's way too much? I'm going to bring it down to about 5, and I'll bring this down to about 1. That's actually a little too much. Let's go 2. There we go. Hit OK. Look at that.
Huh.
All right? Not hard, right?
No.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take advantage of all the things that I know that this program can do to make my job easier. That's really what I'm trying to do. And I'm at the same time I'm doing this, I'm demonstrating things to you that I think you probably should know about in this program, because these are some of the things that you can do with this program when you're creating graphics like this. All right? So is that clear what I did? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. These are a distortion. I want you to just see that. When you click on this, can you see that the rectangle is not changed at all? It's the distortion that's on it that's happening by the program. The rectangle hasn't changed. It won't change unless I expand it. If I can expand it and make it permanent, but it hasn't done that yet. All right? Do you understand?
Yes.
It's sort of like a 3D revolve. When you make a 3D revolve, the program's generating that distortion, and it will remain that way until you actually expand it. All right. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to use this at the bottom and at the top. So I'm going to select these three, just like this, and I'm going to go Object Group, and then I'm going to go Edit Copy, Edit Paste in Place. And I'm going to come over and scroll down towards the bottom. And then I'm going to start bringing it down. All right, let's see now. Let's go View, Fit Artboard and Window. There we go. And if we look at this, we'll see that we have one at the bottom and one at the top. We're not quite in the same position though, so let me bring this down a little bit. That's good. And let me bring this down a little bit because I don't want it so close to the top. Let's say about like that. Okay, so now you see I have my bars exactly where I want them. The problem I have is if you look at this very carefully, Can you see that they go beyond the fold here? It's okay over here, but you see how they go on beyond the fold over here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not very neat. So what I would do with this is I'd come in here and I would drag a rectangular shape over the whole thing. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Let me go all the way down. I lose it too. Jeez, cancel. Let me free transform it because I lost it. I'm going to come down to here, and then I'm going to bring this in onto that score right there, the fold. There we go. Okay, so you see what I did? Let's go view, fit artboard and window. Okay, so what I did essentially was I created this thing, and I'm going to lock the background, object, lock, selection. So the background area is locked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to marquee select those elements, which are those three bars, and that panel. Okay? Now, the panel has to be in front of those bars. What I'm going to do is create what's called a clipping mask. Have you ever heard of a clipping mask before?
I used it last mod.
Okay, so you know what a clipping mask is supposed to do. Essentially, what a clipping mask will do is whatever object is inside the clipping mask is going to show. If the object goes beyond the clipping mask, it's going to be hidden. Right?
Right.
Okay, so what's going to go outside the clipping mask are those little nubby ends. I'm going to try to smooth them up. So I'll go to the object menu, come down to clipping mask, make, and now look, the edges are nice and clean. Right?
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to click this, and it's all one piece now. I'm going to go edit copy, edit paste in place, and then I'm just going to use my shift right arrow to move the whole thing over to right there, which is my back. Right there. Oh, too far. There. Okay? So now I have my little Mexican-y looking stripes on the front and the back like I want them. All right? So the next thing that I need to do is I need to bring my logo in. So I have my color logo right here. This is my color logo. This is my finished logo. This is what I'm going to use. I think I have my guy in here too. Let me just see. Let me just see here. Let me see if I got that. There we go. Object, arrange, sent to back. I don't have it in there. I thought I had one. Where did I? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to box graphics, and let's see here. Go to box graphics, and let me just see if I can grab one of him, and I'll just reuse him. Let me go to the box graphics. Let me click on the box graphics. Let me grab this guy here. Let me unlock it. It's unlocked. All right, so let me grab this guy here. All right, edit copy. All right, and let me hide this graphic. And let's go edit paste. All right, wait a minute. Let me paste it to graphics. There we go. Paste it to graphics. Edit paste. Okay, so there he is. There he is. So in other words, basically what I did was I took my logo, my logo, which is right here, this guy right here. All right, I built the white on it, which I didn't do. I thought I had it done, but it's not done. I don't know why it's not done on this. I don't know where I did it then. I also added from last week, if you remember when I was working on my mood board, I had that star. Do you remember me showing you the star that I did and how I put that together?
Yep.
Yeah, I incorporated the star because I thought it was a good element to go with this. So I could bring this in. I'm noticing that this guy is a little bit on the big side. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to select him. And I'm going to let's see what's going on with him. Okay, there we go. Let me go scale. Let's make it 95. Let's try 95 and preview. Let's make it 90. 90 and hit OK. 90 should do. View, fit artboard and window. Okay, so now I got my guy, and I'm going to duplicate this guy. Edit copy, edit paste in place, and he's going to go on the third panel as well. I'll just move him over. Okay, there we go. And I'll do all my fine tuning and whatnot. Remember now, this is rough. What you're doing now is the rough thing. You don't have, this doesn't have to be 100% solid. It has to be basically roughed out so that I understand what you're doing. You got that, guys?
Okay,
All right.
that's for this week.
That's for this week. Next week is when you really put the whole thing together. This week it can be a little bit rough. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I wanted to add the name Wild Bill's Hot Sauce. I want it to be nice and big. So I'll go back to my logo color, and I'm going to click on this. Hold the Shift key down. Click on that, and go Edit Copy. And then I'm going to come to my box graphics, and I'm just going to paste it. Edit Paste, because I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with it yet. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to bring it over here. And it looks like it can be a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it up to 110. 110. Let's see. And you know what? That's a good size right there. Wild Bill. And this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this up again to 125. And let's see what that looks like. I could even go bigger. 135. Let's try 135. 35. I can go bigger. 145. 45. I think that'll probably be good. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Let's go to the zoom menu in on this thing and let's take a look. Okay, so here we go. I got a gourmet and I got Wild Bill. I'm going to bring Wild Bills down. What I'm doing essentially is I'm deciding where I want my elements to go. Now, this is something I really would like to show you. This is something I think you're really going to like. What I want to do is I want to make Wild Bill a little bit dressier. You notice that the Wild Bill, the red is a good color, but you notice how the red against the orange is kind of dull and you're kind of losing it.
Yeah,
Now, the gourmet hot sauce, you'll notice the gourmet hot sauce sits off of that. You know, when you talk about the, and this is a little bit off, you know, the principles of design, contrast.
right.
Okay, if you look at gourmet sauce, gourmet hot sauce has good contrast against the orange. It's got a nice contrast. The Wild Bill's does not, though, right? It's very close to the other, so it's low contrast. So what you want to do with this is you want to select this guy, go to the window menu, and you want to go to appearance. There we go. Bring the appearance panel over here, and we're going to add a new stroke. Okay? So we're going to add a stroke to this, but before we do anything, let's click on the fill, and let's make that fill that bright red color. Okay? So now we have the fill being defined as being red. The stroke, we do not want black. The stroke, we want white. So we're going to place white on it. And we're going to make the stroke like 3 points. That's probably good right there. Now, the other thing you want to go is to the view menu and open up your stroke panel. Let's go to the window menu and go to stroke. And one of the things that you want to do with this is, you see where you have caps here and corners? I want to hit the round joint corners, and then I'm going to close that. I'm just going to make the corners round. Now, watch what happens. Look at that. It looks terrible, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if I select it, and if I take my fill, and if I drag my fill up in front of the stroke, look at it now. Doesn't that look beautiful?
Yeah.
So have you ever done that? Did you know you could do that?
I've never seen that before.
So when you want to make something that has a stroke on it, and if you want to make it look really correct and beautiful, the way to do it is by putting the stroke on it and using the appearance panel. And you can put as much stroke on this as you want. It can make it big. Actually, I'm not going to change it because that's a perfect stroke for this. but you want to make sure that after you select this thing, you want to make sure that the stroke is behind the fill. Now, why does this do this? The reason it does it, let me select it and let me drag the stroke back up in front of it. Do you see what it's doing? The stroke is being applied to the center of the path around the letters. So that means half of the stroke goes inside and half of it goes outside. And by doing that, the half that goes inside is literally swallowing up the fill. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by taking this thing and selecting it and saying, okay, well, I want my stroke to be like that, but I want my fill to look right. See, look at the, if you can look real carefully when you zoom in here, can you see where the stroke is like being applied 50% on the outside and 50% on the inside?
Yeah.
That's why it's doing what it's doing. By taking the fill and moving the fill up in front of the stroke, you do not see the inside of the stroke. You only see the outside of the stroke, and it looks correct. Okay?
Yeah, I think you showed us that last week too.
Okay. I want to make sure you know it. Let's go to the view menu.
Show me again, because
These are things
I'm
that
good with being retaught. I'm good.
these are things that you're going to use all the time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's go to my layers panel. My layers panel, I'm in my graphics layer. The bleed is locked. What do I else? This is locked. I don't need the background anymore. That's locked. That background is not showing in that background. Okay, so we're in good shape. So now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to select that Wild Bill, edit copy, edit, paste in place. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by moving it over to here first. Let me get it over to here first. Okay, and I'm going to get it positioned right where I want it there. So now I have my Wild Bill Gourmet Hot Sauce and my logo placed properly. All right? So here's what I want to do. I'm going to put my graphic, my bottle graphic here and here, and then I'm going to put Wild Bill graphic up here. So the first thing I'm going to do that is I'm going to select both of those Wild Bills. Let me get all of it. Okay? Edit copy. Edit, paste in place. And I'm going to hold down the shift key and right arrow it until it goes on to the next panel. And notice that they'll go on to the next panel in the proper position together. So you see how I'm actually able to move them all together? And now I'm going to move them up because I want them to be more or less in line with those bars, the stripes like that. Okay?
Okay.
So my box is coming along real good. I want Wild Bill up here. I just click on this, hold down the shift key, click on this, edit copy, edit paste in place. And again, I'm trying to do this in as few moves as I possibly can. And then I'm just going to bring this guy up until it's sitting about in the middle of that top like that. Okay? And probably, my guess is actually, it probably should be around. It should be the opposite way. So I'm going to flip it upside down, hold the shift key down, and now I think I have it in the right way. I think that's how I want it. Actually, no. I don't think that is right. Let's go Control Z. I think I actually had it right there. I think that's where I want it. Because this is the front panel, and this should fold over, and it should be facing in the same direction as the front panel. That's the front, that's the side, that's the back, and that's the other side, right? Okay?
Okay.
All right. So now what I want to do is I want to go to the File menu, and I'm going to open, and I'm going to look for my, I think I got to go to week 1. Let's go to week 1, and I'm going to look for my, let me see where we at here. Assignment week 1? Yeah, here we go. I want my hot sauce bottle mood board. I don't know which one it was. I think it was my, I don't know whether it was hot sauce bottle or a mood board. Let me try mood board. Let's see. And it is, nope, that's not it. All right, let me see. I could probably just steal it. Well, no, I can't. Yes, I can. Here's what I can do. Let me go back to this guy and let me open up my layers panel. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my original graphics. All right, I'm going to come back to my original graphics and I'm going to grab this guy, edit, copy. All right, and the reason I'm doing this is it's just basically so I don't have to go to the trouble of locating the other one. And I'm going to hide that graphic and I'm just going to go edit, paste. All right, so now, again, here we go. Let me go to graphics, right there, graphics 2. Edit, paste, there we go. And there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to move this guy into position right here. Okay, and I'll probably move him down a little bit. Let me see, move him down a little bit, sort of like that. All right, and then what I want to do is I want to do the same thing on this panel. I want to show it on the same panel. Copy and paste. And then I'm going to shift drag this guy. I grabbed the wrong one. Control Z. You grab the right one. This guy here. Shift drag this guy over to here. And get him in position. Now notice that when I'm dragging this over here, can you see my smart guides helping me out a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm going to release him. And then what I'm going to do is hold the shift key down. I'm going to drag. Let me get this thing selected. Shift key. Come on. There we go. Oh, man. I don't want to go in here. Let me go back. Come on. Okay, click on this. All right. And I'm going to, jeez. This thing's really being a pain. I got it now, I think. Let's see. There we go. And I'm going to shift until I get my there we go. I think that's about right. Nope, it's too low. Move them up a bit until it is sort of in the same position as the other one on the other panel. Okay, so there we go. Now let me see what's left on this graphics-wise. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. Down at the bottom here, I have net weight, 3 fluid ounces. I don't know what that actually number is. Let me just copy it, edit, copy. And let me go into my graphics 2. And let's go edit, paste in place. And again, you got to make sure you're on the right layer, my graphic layer. I got to unlock that layer and be on that layer. Edit, paste in place. Okay, and there it is. Now, what this says basically is simply this. It just is net weight 3 fluid ounces. Net weight 3 fluid ounces, 88 milliliters. Okay. Now you could do that, and then what you could do is you could, if you want, since this is a box. Here's the thing. The barcode, I put the barcode on the bottle because the barcode, first of all, I don't know that there are too many gourmet hot sauces where you'll find a box on them. Most of the time, I think you'll find just bottles. Do you guys ever buy hot sauce?
Oh, yes, I love hot sauce.
Yeah, do you ever find them in boxes?
Yes.
No,
Yeah?
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah, there's a store in Michigan.
Yep.
And all they sell is hot sauce and beef jerky. Oh, it's a green store.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, then I guess theoretically I should be putting the barcode on this. So here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I am going to go File, Place. And let's see if I can find my barcode. Let's go up to week. Let's go up to week 2. And let's go in. Here's my barcode. Hit place. And boom. There's my barcode. Okay, so I got a barcode here, and I'm going to move the barcode right about there. And then I'm going to scale it down, okay, because the thing is huge. This barcode is one that I picked up. I'm going to hold down the Shift and Alt key until I get that barcode down into a size that will fit. And it has to come down rather small. What I can do is this. I can either put the barcode here, okay? This is one way to go. All right? I can put the barcode there, or I could drag the barcode over to here. This is the bottom of the box. And I could turn it upside down. I could rotate it around because I think it'd probably be better to go that way. Yep. And then just move the thing into position, something like that. Okay? There is my barcode. I can click on this, edit copy, edit paste in place, and then I'm just going to move that guy over here. And let's go to the view menu, fit artboard and window. Let's see what I got so far. Now, I think if we go back to my layers, if I hide that layer, if I show that layer, I'm missing copy here. That's what it is. I'm missing copy here, and I'm missing copy here. So let me quickly show you. This is okay. The front's okay. I think I just moved this. I respaced it slightly. But I have actually copy here. So here's what I did for mine. I just took the copy that they provided me with in the course. Spicy, sweet, and highly addictive Wild Bill's Gourmet Hot Sauce was recently named the best tasting hot sauce on the market ahead of competitors such as Cholula Hot Sauce and Tabasco. Okay, so that's all I did. I just basically put that little block of copy in here, all right, and it looks to me like it could be centered a little bit better. And down at the bottom, I took a bottle of my own hot sauce and I found who it was distributed by. And what I did was I added that to the back panel, and there's my barcode. Okay, so those are the only things that are left. Go to the view menu, fit artboard and window, and that right there is my final package. All right?
Okay.
All right, now, one more thing. Let me just go in here and let me bring this. Oh, and by the way, you know, you keep your trim on. Look, if you take your trim off, look what it looks like. You see what I'm saying? You really need the trim on this and the folds. You see how that finishes it off nicely?
Yes.
And then if you want, you can turn your bleed back on and you have your bleed as well as your color showing. And if you want to show the bleed, what you could do is bring bleed all the way to the top of the stack, have the bleed up on top of everything. And it's still, because it's orange, you don't see it very well, but it's there. You can see it just barely. And that's what your package is going to look like in its final stage. Now, I'm going to hide this. This is my preliminary one, okay? My preliminary one. So what I'm saying to you is, mine is a little bit rough. But if you, and I haven't hid this yet. Let me hide that. What's this deal here? I'm hitting the wrong one. That's what it is. Let me bring that on and bring that on. Come on. What happened to my graphics? Here we go. No, what happened to my graphics? Why am I not? Oh, I see, because the packaging is in front of it. How did I do that? How did I get that like that? I must have done that accidentally. There we go. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that this is my preliminary one. And it looks pretty close, but I think ultimately this one looks a little bit better. So what I'm saying to you is that, you know, if yours isn't 100%, if it isn't 100%, that's okay. Ultimately, you're going to make it 100%, and, you know, that will be for your final. But I basically want you to come up with something that's pretty close. I got about 8 minutes. So instead of ending the class early, what I thought I would do is I would show you. Let me go back to my sample bottles. Let me go back to my sample bottles here. All right, my sample boxes. And let me click on this. And let me just quickly show you how I went about doing this. So I'm going to go back in. If you remember what I told you, this is the extrude and bevel, right? Not the rotate. This is the extrude and bevel. So I go to the window menu and I open up Appearance. And I'm going to double click on Extrude and Bevel, hit Preview. Okay, it'll generate the geometry. This is getting to be a big file, so it's going to start acting up on me right now. It's going to generate its geometry. There we go. Now, I'm going to go Map Art, and there is my front. Okay, there is my front. And remember what I told you. You see the little highlight there?
Yes.
Guys, remember this from last week? I'm going to go to the next surface, which is the back surface. Go to the next surface, which is that right surface. Go to the next surface, which is the bottom surface. The next surface, which is that side surface. And you see what I put on the side surface? The only thing that I put on the side surface was the logo, the gourmet hot sauce, and the bottle. That's what I put on the side surface, okay? And I did that by coming in here, and originally it said none, and I went down and I chose the side, and then what I had to do is I had to distort and adjust the size of the graphic to fit that side. And then finally, to make it look even better, you see that little check mark right there? It says shade artwork slower. I clicked on that, and it made it shade into the background of the box. So I'm going to hit cancel because I'm not going to change it. But do you get the idea what I did? I just basically did the same thing I did with the front that I demonstrated last week, only now I'm using the side, and I'm using a separate symbol. The symbol is in there. And I'll show you how I made the symbol. Hit cancel. Okay, cancel. And deselect this. Here's my symbol. Let it make its geometry. Every time you do this, it wants to rewrite this. This is unfortunately part of the process. So, am I losing you? Are you guys okay with what I'm saying?
Yes.
Good. All right, so I'm going to open up my symbol panel. Double click on this. See my symbol? This is all my symbol is. It's three little objects. It's my bottle, and it's my logo, and it's my wild bills. Okay? Now, what I did to get this bottle right, let me get this out of here. Let me go back to, let me close this. Save it, no. And box graphics start, let's see if it's there. Yeah, no, I don't think that's it. Let me close that. And let me go file open. And let's go to, I think it's week 1. Let's see, where are you? Wild Bill logo, it's in here. Assignment week 1. Wait a minute. Mood board. I think that's where it is. Let's see if it's on here. It's not. Where did I have that? File open. What I'm trying to do, I'm going to run out of time too. I'm not going to find it. Hold on. Let me just see quickly. Mood board, hot sauce bottle. Boo boo. That's it right there. Okay. Here's all I wanted to show you. I went through the process of demonstrating how I created this bottle, right? You guys know how to do that. I don't have to show it to you again. But what I wanted to show you was this. This is my bottle. Let me see, it's locked, right? Yeah, it's locked. Let me unlock these things. This is my bottle. The bottle is still rotated. See the bottle right here? Mm-hmm. That's still a 3D object. How I turn this thing from that to this, okay, and actually I didn't do it here. Okay, so watch. How I'll do it on this one. How I change that object right there to that object right there is this. Watch. I'm going to select the object. I'm going to go to the object menu, and I'm going to go to expand appearance. And you see what it did? It expanded it. It is no longer, watch when I zoom in. Watch this. See? It is no longer that object. See that object there? That's what it started out as. Now it's expanded, and it's made into a whole vector object. Okay? The reason I did this is because if I'm going to apply this as part of a symbol, I can't use the object as a 3D object. It has to be expanded into a vector object to do that. All right?
Okay.
You have any questions about that? Why I'm doing it? Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, all I'm saying is that it can't be a live 3D object cannot be made into a symbol. If I tried to make this into a symbol, I very strongly suspect it's going to fail. I'll try it and see. I don't think it's going to let me do it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Let me try to do it. Watch. Oh, it did it. I'll be darned. You're kidding. Wow, it did it. Well, I'll tell you what, to be totally honest with you, let's go edit undo. I would still expand it because I have a feeling that even if you do this, I don't know whether it's going to work when you go into the 3D environment. So what I would say to you is that if you're going to decide to put your product on your box and you're going to use the 3D box, the extrude and bevel like I did, you should probably just expand this like I did right there. That's what I think you should do, just to play it safe. All right?
Okay.
That's all I got for you tonight. If there's unless there's something you want to ask me, any questions finally? Because I'm kind of done.
I have.
I'm going to send you an email asking because I need to show you what I'm talking about.
You want to show it to me right now?
Okay. I can do that too.
Okay. You Breeze, you can stay or you can go. I mean, we're done. I'm just going to see.
I can show you real quick.
Huh?
It's on my desktop, so I can show you real quick.
Well, who's going to show it to me?
Brianne.
Oh, okay. Shakir, say you can go or stay if you want. It's up to you.
I have a question as well, but I could wait till she's finished.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let's see. How do I do this? I don't want to. I guess I can stop recording. All right, let me do that first. Let me come up here and let me stop recording.